Families mean so much to individual health and welfare and social order that law would naturally give substantial attention to them. Things most important to us occur within families, from birth through infancy, education and maturation, love and intimacy, homemaking, sickness, disability, and demise. Laws that preserve, protect, and promote families are primarily state laws. Although federal law addresses domestic violence prevention, interstate child support enforcement, division of retirement plans and divorce, and household income taxes. Family laws become critical when families are in crisis. Yet even in stable and secure times, you can benefit by knowing and pursuing the protections of family laws. Consider the following discussion of the laws of cohabitation, marriage, divorce, children, and other family laws. Know your family rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. Marriage. Law provides a secure framework for married couples living together in long-term union and intimacy. Legislatures enact and courts interpret laws to promote marriage. State law defines what constitutes marriage, typically requiring a license, ceremony, and consummation between two competent, consenting, and not already married adults. States may impose other requirements to obtain a marriage license, such as residency within the state for some period, a waiting period, vaccination, blood testing, particularly for venereal disease, and proof of lawful termination of prior marriages. A spouse need not, but may take the last name of the other spouse. Few states authorize common law marriages, recognized when living together while publicly claiming marriage but without the requisite license and ceremony. Marriage brings many legal advantages. Marriage can mean lower marginal income tax rates for joint filers if one spouse earns all or most of the household income. On the other hand, if both of you earn about the same, then the marginal tax rates can be higher with a joint filing, known as the marriage penalty. Marriage affords dozens of other advantages around retirement plans, insurance plans, Social Security, inheritance, property rights, separation, divorce, and other important subjects. Some couples enter into prenuptial, also called antenuptial, agreements to modify some of those legal rights. Under certain conditions, they also have privileges not to testify against one another and to keep confidential private communications made between them during the marriage. Debts. Marriage law demands that spouses support one another for necessities such as food, shelter, and medical care. Some states extend that obligation to mean that both spouses are liable to pay care providers. Generally, though, one spouse is not liable for the other spouse's individual debts, unless expressly acknowledging the debt, such as on a joint credit card, or by co-signing for the obligation. Indeed, one of the greater financial protections of marriage is that property held together in marriage, known as entireties property, is exempt from execution by judgment creditors of either individual spouse. Spouses are not liable for the misconduct or carelessness, or responsible for the crimes, of the other. Consult your lawyer if you wish to know more about your rights, obligations, and opportunities within marriage. Divorce. Law provides the terms on which marriages end, whether by annulment or divorce. Divorce law is state law, varying somewhat from state to state. States generally have residency requirements varying from 30 days to 1 year to obtain a divorce within the state, plus a waiting period of days or months between filing for divorce and obtaining a divorce judgment. Many states provide for no-fault divorce, meaning that only one spouse needs to attest that the marriage is irretrievably broken and wait the statutory period to obtain a divorce judgment. Other states give an option of no-fault or fault-based divorce, including grounds like cruelty, adultery, or abandonment, proof of which may affect how the court divides property or assigns spousal support. Property division and spousal support are substantial issues in divorce. See below for children's issues. State laws vary, but tend to start with a presumption that divorcing spouses divide marital assets and debts equally. Adjustments in a property division can reflect several factors, including each party's ability to provide that party's own support, income, education, and length of the marriage, for whether the court will require either party to support the other after divorce. Marital assets are generally those accumulated during the marriage, other than by gift or inheritance. Courts usually enter divorce judgments by consent after the parties agree to terms, but sometimes must impose the judgment after hearing or trial. State laws usually permit annulments instead of divorce only when one of the parties was still married, meaning the new marriage was unlawfully bigamous. One of the parties coerced or defrauded the other party, one of the parties is under the age of consent, or where the parties have not yet consummated the marriage. States also recognize formal separations short of complete divorce. giving separated parties access to the courts to help decide property and support issues. A divorce judgment may also restore the maiden or prior name of a spouse who changed a name at marriage. Consult qualified legal representation for more information on separation and divorce. Children. Law governs many important rights and responsibilities regarding your children. Knowing the law can help you pursue the best interests of your children. Law first addresses who your children are. Paternity actions brought by the mother or state establish, by blood test, testimony, or default, who is a child's father, after which the father will have the support obligations and may have the parenting rights of a father. State laws tend to promote and protect child-rearing within marriage, by presuming that children born during the marriage are children of the marriage. Yet states may recognize a husband's opportunity to dispute paternity and disavow parentage before acknowledgement. Once the family court establishes paternity, state law grants broad parental rights to raise, supervise, instruct, and provide for children without the interference of others. State laws also permit you to designate temporary guardians over your children while you are incapacitated or away. You may also, in your will, recommend permanent guardians in the event of your death. Parents can lose parental rights for abuse and neglect, but only after notice and court hearing. Custody. Parents who live apart must either agree on physical and legal custody of children or have a court decide custody based on factors including fitness, safety, and support. Joint legal custody, where both parents together make major decisions regarding the child, is common, while joint physical custody may also be possible with the child dividing time between households. Otherwise, the non-custodial parent will have parenting time, visitation rights, unless a court has safety or other reasons not to allow it. Non-custodial parents generally pay child support based on the relative income of each parent. Courts can enforce child support with contempt sanctions, including incarceration. Orders for an employer to withhold income from an employer to pay over to the custodial parent are common, to avoid payment and accounting issues. Consult a qualified legal representative when facing these or similar issues relating to your children. Youth. State laws provide for ages when a child's minority becomes an adult's majority for various purposes relating to independent decision-making. That age is often 18 years of age for hazardous work or for entering into binding contracts, but for other purposes as young as age 16 for consensual sex, marriage, or motor vehicle driving, and for other purposes age 21 for drinking alcohol or smoking. States permit minors to petition the courts to lower the age of emancipation. Yet juvenile law rather than criminal law generally judges youth misconduct. Juveniles have the advantage of confidential proceedings and records, and detentions that typically end in freedom when the detained juvenile reaches adulthood. Minors engaging in adult conduct, such as alcohol possession, may face criminal charge or juvenile sanction. Adults who assist minors in conduct reserved for adults may face their own criminal charges, for instance for statutory rape for sex with an underage minor. Law may permit a court to reduce the age at which the court judges a youth under adult criminal laws, sometimes to as young as age 12 or 13. Some states hold parents civilly liable for willful or reckless injury, loss, or damage that their youths cause, but limit that liability to a specific figure such as $5,000. Care. Spouses owe one another a duty of support for necessary items, such as food, clothing, and shelter. Spouses also owe duties and enjoy privileges of love, society, services, and sexual intimacy, as well as fiduciary duties in financial transactions. A wrongdoer who injures one spouse in a way that prevents that spouse from fulfilling those duties to the other spouse will owe the uninjured spouse damages. Spouses also owe duties of reasonable care to one another, meaning that if one's negligence injures the other, the injured spouse may be due compensation from the negligent spouse. A few states grant interspousal immunity to such negligence suits, but other states do not, and many states provide numerous exceptions, where suits between spouses may proceed for things like motor vehicle accident injuries, assault and battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, or once divorced. Interspousal remedies make little sense for spouses who live together and share finances, but more sense where liability insurance would pay for the loss. Some states require adult children to provide necessities for the support of an aged and destitute parent, but states seldom enforce those statutes. States may also criminalize an adult child's knowing neglect to care for a dependent resident aged and infirm parent, but again seldom with enforcement. Social Security disability benefits may extend to the disabled person's dependent spouse. Consult a qualified lawyer on questions of intra-family care and support.